Hey, welcome back here. So today we're going to continue from our backup. We did beam backup, backing up our VMs, but now we're going to back up the host, and we're going to use the backup feature that Windows Server has built in. So at this point, we should have it installed already. The role. But even before that, just make sure you guys have that installed. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the prereqs so we can just go over them. I'm gonna add the notes on the video, but first of all, let's go into the PowerPoint I created here. So we're gonna do a backup of our local using the backup feature of Windows Server, and it comes on Server 2020. 2019, 2012. I think it was built in 2008. I'm not sure. You can go back and do an investigation on that. But very simple, straightforward. It works. I tried it. I deployed it. So now this is a part of backing up. Say you have Beam or a third-party vendor backing up your VMs. This is going to be backing up just the host. So we're going to go ahead and to use the built-in backup feature. It's going to protect our folders, volumes, and states. It'll go to a system state where it'll back up your AD, your DNS, your RAID, your team NIC, your NIC teaming, all that config that you set up at one time. So here it is again. You of course you need the right admin rights, a destination to point to it, a target. Um, you need here. This is how we're gonna open up Server Manager. The roles at this point, everybody should have it already installed, or you can install the role. Once you install the role, it brings it up, and then you can create your first schedule, and then we'll launch it. We'll go over a backup once, a backup schedule, a recovery, uh, and then here's the same one-time backup. I prefer to do the schedule, and I'll show you guys why. You could backup one-time backup is like a test, or like say you want to do it just once if you set this up. But in the production side, you need to have a schedule going on, and I'll show you guys the difference. Here's the destination. Make sure you target your destination. You don't want to target a target because you don't want to back up your backup. That's what I'm trying to say. Because then it'll get full. That's not the proper way to do it. And I'll show you guys how to. Once I go over it, we'll verify everything to make sure it's not backing up a backup where we're pointing to the backup. And then the restore will restore it. Of course, there's a lot of ways to restore it, and the main scenario would be if your C drive crashes and you don't have access to that server, right? That's why the whole point is backing up using your ISO, backing up the system, and I'll go over that too. I have the instructions right here in case if that's the scenario where the drive just died, right? But you have a RAID or a second drive, or like in my case, LUN, pointing to a Synology a SAN, or you guys can have a DAO or IBM SAN. So this is the steps. I'm not going to go over them. There's too many of them, but it's an easy process. It's not too hard. And then here is the difference. I kind of went and saw online the difference just to get a little bit more in detail on the one-time backup and the backup scheduler. Of course, this is going to be a production, so you want to do backup because here's the cons and pros. They get the automation recurring on the schedule, runs automatically. You don't have to do it, and then again runs automatically. Daily protection, of course, if something happens, right, you're protected. The testing, one backup, I mean, it's not going to. It's just a one-time backup. Long-term backup scheduler, and then of course you'll put a time and date on the backup scheduler. All right, let's get started. So let's go into the server. At this point, you should already have installed the role. I already have it. Windows Server Backup. Let's launch it up. Okay, here goes. This is how it would look. And this is your scheduler, your ones, and then the recovery. We're gonna do a backup scheduler. Uh, and then we're gonna go ahead and say next. I'm gonna customize it because I don't want to back up. So let me show you where we're gonna do the backup first. We're gonna back up. This is my test server, so I have a bunch of ISOs on the C drive. Don't mind this. Data, I'm not gonna back it up here because I have data. This is where I'm planning to do point the target to file share because this is a LUN. This is one of my iSCSIs that I have pointing to my SAN via the iSCSI. So this failover cluster is not. This is where I have this on the multi-host level where you need. This is a different topic, but so this is my fail cluster drive. But this is where we're going to point it to, and then I'll show you guys why. Okay, we're not gonna use none of these others. All right, so let's go ahead and do a custom, and then as we can see, we're gonna do add item. Here, this is where I was saying right here. So we're not gonna do a bare metal, but bare metal you would do if you want to restore it to another computer, like another host, where say this whole thing died, it blew up or something like that. And then the system state, of course, system state is going to be selected because this is where like your Active Directory, DNS, all that stays a C drive. Your Hyper-V, not your Hyper-V, but your NIC teaming, all the configurations. We don't want to do Hyper-V because remember we mentioned we have a third party already backing up the VM, so that kind of not a good practice. You want to skip that. Um, of course, we're not gonna do EFI system partition because this is part of the bare. The EFI is like the data, like when it boots up, the server boots up, and then it takes you to the setup or F1, F11. That's where that data lives. We don't want that. I mean, this is if you select bare metal, then that would be the initial part. But we're gonna do local, where it says the system state local, and you see where data we're not going to back it up because this is mirror 10 rate, but this file share is the folder. Of course, I'm not going to select backup because that's where we would be backing up a backup, and that's a no. Okay, that's it. And the failover, we're not going to do failover either because that's being used by the cluster. You don't never want to do cluster. You never want to do those because that's it's not bit practice. It'll break your cluster process. So let's go ahead with those two. We're going to say next. And here's the timing. Of course, you can select depending on your time. I'm just going to leave it at default 9 p.m. when nobody's around. Everybody expects the office to be empty at 6, 7, depending what kind of business you are. If it's your if your business runs 24 hours, and get that peace of mind of knowing when this is another time. In my case, I'm going to leave it default. Here, these three, this is what I was sharing, the volume and the backup on the PDF PowerPoint slides. Your backup, we want to do a volume because a volume you'll be able to copy it on a partition on one of your letters. A backup is it'll take over your whole entire drive. So this is what we're going to do right here. And then I got I have the PowerPoint slide. Somehow I'm going to post it up on the link so we can get more details. Here, we're going to add our destination. Remember we mentioned it's not the data, but the file share is going to be my target. This is the 1 terabyte is going to be going back to my Synology storage. In your case, it could be a DAO, it could be anything else. Wherever you're going to point it to, you could point it to a partition, a RAID partition on your drive. You can point it to a. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, and then next, when everything is there, 1 terabyte, it gives you all your details, and finish. Depending on sometimes it takes long depending on the drive. The last backup I did on another host took me like 8 minutes. So in this case, Oh, look at that. You have successfully created a backup. This is really quick. So once you do that, you can see it here. Details. Nope. Refresh information. So once we do that, that's it. That's all we need to do now. Now let's here it's right here. Time 9 p.m. So it hasn't done a backup right because it's not 9 p.m. But I'm gonna run a backup. I'm gonna pause it and of course I'm not gonna wait, but I'm gonna do a second backup. Let's do a test. Let's do a second since we already know how to do it. Let's do a second backup, and then we'll point it to 523. So modify this. Oh, look at this. Modify it. Let's modify it. All we're gonna do is select the time. So let's do 5. Now this is just for test purposes, but we wanted to. Of course, you have to do your own at 5. Oh, it doesn't give you the. Okay, that's fine. More than one time. Nope, we don't want to do it. This is in case if you want to do it twice a day. We want to do it once. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pause it and then come back and then once we finish this, I'm gonna restore it. So it'll be 2 parts in the video. I was gonna create a second part, but I might as well since it's a quick one. I'll pause it for the purpose of the sake of the time, and then we'll come back. Okay, well, we're coming back to the backup, and I set it to 5:30. It's starting to back up. It's at 22%. I just want to confirm, so it is working as it should. And then let's just go see our drive just to see if it has anything there. So this is where the target is, and it's right here, Windows Image Backup. And I think I'm going to conclude that with this video with just this part. The recovery, I'll probably create another one for the sake of time. I'm already passing my time, but hopefully you guys learned something. I did. Have a good one.